All right, the first pitch is going to be Noelle Smiley, Assistant Police Chief, Irvine Police Department. Got a little walk-up music. And the clock has not started yet.
Gangsters, bad
Come on,
bitches,
podium and
and
microphone.
friends. I cannot preach.
Right, time has begun.
Hello, everyone. Having a good day so far? Now, forgive me if I use some notes. I've discovered that as I've gotten older, that if I don't have notes in front of me, that my mind starts to wander, and eventually you'll start hearing about my dogs or my last vacation, so please indulge me. But as mentioned, my name is Noelle Smiley, and I'm incredibly happy to be here with you today. Thank you, Julie. You keep moving. There you are. Thank you very much. Sorry, this keeps fading out. Just a little bit about me. I've been a police officer for 26 years now, and I started my career with the Los Angeles Police Department, but lateral to Irvine PD back in 2000. I'm also a proud graduate of UC Irvine. Go Anteaters. I received my degree, my bachelor's degree, back in 1996, which sounds like a long time ago now, and came back a few years ago for my master's degree. So I'm really happy to be here in my alma mater. I feel really comfortable. And as assistant chief, I'm obviously very proud of working for the Irvine Police Department and the city of Irvine, mostly because we have an amazing community and I get to work with amazing people, a couple of which are here with us today. I won't ask you to stand up, but you know who you are and you can probably see them if you just look in that direction. As I mentioned, we have a tremendous amount of support from our community. And now I know that not all law enforcement agencies enjoy that sort of relationship with their communities, but I do know that they're working toward improvement in those areas. But what I can tell you is what has worked for us in the city of Irvine. And what we do is we look for opportunities to engage with our community, including our children, early and often. To start with, we actually still have a DARE program. Most agencies do not have that. But we find that it allows us to connect with kids at a very early age and start building that trust in law enforcement, which is obviously very important. We have our middle school officers that pick up where our DARE officers leave off, and we have school resource officers that are assigned to every single one of our high schools. Of course, we partner with amazing people like Julie Hudash and organizations like Team Kids, all to just continue to maintaining that relationship with our community because it is so important. Now, the hard reality is that every police department is different. Every community is different. For police agencies that have strained relationships with their communities, it's really up to the police department to take that first step. And for us in Irvine, it's important to keep pushing forward because there's always room for improvement. But how do we do that? How does a law enforcement agency, how does a police officer take that first step? Or for the city of Irvine, how do we continue to, like I said, push forward? And I have a kind of a unique perspective on that. And it actually goes back to something that Yvette Donald said earlier on screen. And that is truly my belief that in law enforcement, we do a very poor job of letting people see our humanity. We're trained to be tough, to control our emotions, to be stoic, and to be very professional at all times. We stand up in front of community groups and we give a very boring bio and we intentionally omit information about our personal lives. We don't talk about our families. We don't really talk about anything that would allow you to connect with us as human beings. So I've been up here talking for a couple minutes now, and you heard me give a very boring bio. You know that I started my career with LAPD and that I went to UC Irvine. Both very important things, but it doesn't really tell you anything about who I am as a person. But what if I had started this way? What if I had said, I grew up in California, and I'm the oldest of 3 girls. And when I was a kid, I was the tallest person in my 4th grade class. In fact, the entire school. And so because of that, I was very, very fast. And so I literally grew up believing that I was going to be an Olympic gold medalist in track and field. Spoiler alert, that did not happen. Other kids, of course, caught up to me, and eventually my dream of being an Olympian faded. But I did play sports in high school, so I'm proud of that. I did graduate from UC Irvine with a bachelor's degree, as I shared, in political science. And 6 months later, I started my career with the Los Angeles Police Department. And while working there, I met my husband. I transferred to Irvine PD in 2000, and my journey to assistant chief began at that point. Along the way, my husband and I adopted our son from Russia. He was 8 years old at the time and did not speak a lick of English. And I realized pretty quickly that the French that I learned in high school and college was not going to help me figure out how to communicate with him. I learned Russian as quickly as I could, but fortunately, my son learned English faster than I could learn Russian, so it all totally worked out. Now, my career in life progressed fairly normally until October 1st of 2017. Now that evening, while I was asleep, I received a phone call from my brother-in-law. Now, when my phone rang, I knew that he was in Las Vegas with my sister and that they were attending the Route 91 concert beneath the Mandalay Bay. But I couldn't understand why he would be calling me, and I was literally thinking, he doesn't call me like this. Why is he calling me? And when I answered the phone, he told me that my sister, Autumn, had been shot 3 times, including once in the face, and that they were at Sunrise Hospital, and that he didn't yet know if she had survived. So I got in my car, I raced to Vegas as quickly as I could, which was actually very fast, don't tell my chief, and got there just in time for us to both learn that she had pulled through emergency surgery, and I'm happy to say that she's very much alive, and 5 years later, thank you. 5 years later, she's still in recovery, but she is absolutely my best friend in this world, and I cannot imagine what my life would be without her. So why do I share all that? I share it because that's the type of information that allows us to connect as human beings. We're all sons, we're daughters, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, and we're parents and we're grandparents. And we all experience joy, fear, grief, and every other human emotion. Now, by sharing that information, did it change the way you perceive me? Does it change the way that you perceive maybe the Irvine Police Department and the men and women who work there, or law enforcement in general? So my call to action is this. Regardless of your position or the industry that you're in, have the courage to be human. Have the courage to tell your story, to be vulnerable, to share your success and your failures. Connect with people within your organization and outside of it on a personal level. Aspire to be the best version of yourself so that you can help and support others. And be the leader that inspires adults and kids to pick up the leadership mantle and continue to affect positive change. Thank you again for letting me be here. Julie, thank you so much. Have a great day.